How does the German tax system work and what do you have to know about it? In this video, I want to give you a system overview, like a beginner's guide, and what do you have to know about as a newcomer. So welcome back to another video here on GTax. My name is Roland Elias. I'm a German tax advisor. And today we're going to talk about the structure of the German system and other things you have to know about the German tax system. First of all, the structure of the German tax system depends on the kind of tax you are involved with. So, for example, the income tax is a progressive tax system, means the more you earn, the more interest rates you have to pay. For example, you earn around about 300,000 euros, then you're up to 45% in taxation in the next euro you earn. So this is a specialty. Most of the systems worldwide have a flat tax. It means everyone has to pay, for example, 10-20% or something like this. And the other systems are like steps, I mean like 10%, 12, and so on. So the structure of the German tax system is also depends whether the tax you're involved with and, for example, who you have to pay to. For example, there are some taxes which are collected federally, some state, and some on the local levels. For example, the property tax in Germany is a local tax, and most of the other taxes are, for example, federal or state taxes. This is very important for you to know because everyone has to pay to another federal, state, or local level. So the tax office where you have to pay the taxes to is called in Germany the Finanzamt. It's the local authority for income tax, for example. This is the main thing you have to know. If you are searching for information, then search for the Finanzamt. For employees, it's mostly not a big thing with taxes because their taxes will be withheld automatically by the employer. That means they don't have to do a tax return or something like this. Also, it might be a very good thing to do a tax return, but they don't have to. The other thing is, for example, freelancers, businesses handle their tax payments and everything themselves. They have to take care about this. The main types of taxes you'll encounter are, for example, the income tax. So if you earn money in Germany, then you have to pay the income tax, in German Einkommensteuer. This is paid by your employees, freelancers, or pensioners. For example, as I told you, employees, they get paid out the net, and the tax is withheld by the employer, and he is sending this to the local tax office. For freelancers, pensioners, people who have property or something like this, they have to take care of themselves. For example, the next thing is the so-called VAT, value-added tax. It's called Mehrwertsteuer, Umsatzsteuer. It's a consumption tax added to everything like goods, services, and for example, if you buy a new iPhone, then you have to pay 19%, for example, here on VAT. The another thing is for all the people who are, for example, in a church, they have to pay church tax, in Germany called Kirchensteuer. It's only for registered members and they have to pay 8 to 9%, depends on the state they are living in Germany. The next thing is the solidarity surcharge. This is called the Soli or Solidaritätszuschlag. This is 5.5% of the income tax. This is mostly just for high earners. The normal employees or businesses don't have to pay these. The next thing is the trade tax. This is a tax for business owners. Here, for not regular employees, they have to pay it. So in the detail, let's come to details in income tax, for example. For employers, freelancers, and everyone who has an income in 2025 has to pay taxes from 0% up to 45%, then also up on 45%, 5.5% solidarity surcharge. The tax-free allowance is 12,069 euros as of 2025. And for example, employees are assigned a tax class, so-called Steuerklasse, which impacts their withholdings. Freelancers must have to file annually a tax return and often pay quarterly in advance for taxes. Deductions are, for example, everything like work expenses, insurance, to reduce the taxable income. All this is very important. The next thing is the VAT and consumption tax. These are things you just pay it, but you don't have to do anything with it, because it's the businesses, for example, Apple in Germany, I buy a new iPhone, then Apple is withholding, I paid to Apple the 19%, for example, and then they paid to the local tax office. So the standard rate for VAT is in Germany 19%, and then there's a reduced rate is, for example, 7% on groceries, books, and some other things which are very important, like meal, flesh and something like this. For chicken or beef or something like this, there are special prices. These prices in Germany, it depends. In the USA, it's excluded VAT. In Germany, it's already included VAT. That means the gross price. In Germany, we call it Bruttopreis. And this is the thing that you pay. What you see, you pay it at the end. Freelancers and businesses have to register for the VAT, because then they have to, for example, monthly, quarterly, or yearly, have to do a tax return, for example here, to send the VAT to the local tax office. Small business have the chance to opt out of the VAT charge, as called the Kleinunternehmerregelung. They don't have to pay the VAT, but they don't have the upfront tax. For example, they can't return the taxes as they buy things. Then there are some things you have to know. For newcomers, it's very important. You need a tax ID, Steuer ID. That's very important, because this is a personal permanent number for all residents. That means if you move here to Germany, for example, you're longer here than 183 days. That means you're here taxable in Germany, and then you have to you get a tax ID. And this is an ID you always should keep to yourself. Only give it to people who you trust, for example, banks, for example, your employer, but don't give this to anyone else. It's like the so-called social security number in the USA, where everything gets connected to. The next thing is the tax number. It's called Steuernummer. This is for businesses, freelancers, or for people who are, have property and they lease it to other people. Then there's ELSTER. This is the official online tax portal for submitting your returns. Then there are some things you should know about, for example, double taxation treaties. These DTAs are very important if you're moving to Germany as an expat, because if you have foreign income and don't, for example, have to in some cases you don't have to tax it in Germany because it's taxed abroad, for example, properties or some special businesses you run abroad. But in the most cases, you have to pay taxes on everything you earn if you live in Germany for more than 183 days, because then you're 400% taxable in Germany, because it says there's a so-called world income, and this means all the income all over the world, you have to tax it in Germany. So do you have any more questions? Then keep it up in the comments below. I wish you a very good day.